Peace and blessings. Shalom. Father God, my tongue. Heavenly Father, God, my mind. Most High Eternal. Let there be truth spread right now. We want to talk about the Stairway to Heaven. Not what you've heard before, because you know I don't do that. I'm going to talk about the OJays, Stairway to Heaven, and we're going to relate that to not only Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, which is the most famous one. I believe it was one of the top 500 rock and roll songs of all time. Let me get that out of here because I don't want any problems from YouTube about copyright infringement. So I'm not going to play any music until we figure out exactly how to get around, until I figure out exactly how to get around that, and until somebody can help me figure out how can I play some of these songs for y'all without getting in trouble, which is probably not going to be able to happen because this is not information that's supposed to be out. So more on the songwriter's secret. We're going to talk now about the relationship between the Stairway to Heaven by the OJays, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, and believe it or not, Stairway to Heaven by Neil Sedaka, of all people. And we're going to try to do this quick. First, we need to make a relationship. Much like in the video Nike and Newport, Nike and Newport share the same logo. One is an inverted version of the other. We know how American business works. In the land of litigation, there's no way you can have my logo. Whether you flip it upside down or turn it backward or whatever, there's no way you can have my logo and I not sue you unless we're together. We have to have some sort of cooperation between one another. And I maintain this because that these two companies are both dedicated to Lucifer. That's what I maintain. It's my opinion, and I can back it up. So the same thing was going through my mind concerning the Stairway to Heaven. Now, don't get upset, brothers and sisters. You don't want to hear nothing about nobody black sometimes, and you know, especially if you like it. And just because you like something, or because it sounds good, look good, or tastes good, fast food tastes good, that don't mean it's good for you. A beautiful woman or a handsome brother can be riddled uh, uh, with an STD or some terrible virus or disease, and because they look good on the outside, do you assume that they're good on the inside? So you do the same thing when you assume that because music sounds good. See, you can hear the demonic influence in Jay-Z's music. You can hear the sonic uh, presence of the demonic in Lil Wayne's voice and his delivery. But when you hear the OJays, or you hear Parliament Funkadelic, or you hear Michael McDonald, or you hear Cameo, you believe that you're hearing something that's untainted. You know, you believe that you're hearing something because it sounds good to you. It's better music. All the old school music was better. Get off these young kids. Leave the nieces and nephews alone, because I'm about to put you to shame about Eddie Levert's group, the OJays, and we're going to really make some great connections. You're going to enjoy it if you can bear with me. I want to thank Prophet Charlie here in Ohio, who has invited me and my pastor down to fellowship, and we've been really going over a lot of songs. Prophet Charlie's got a great musical ear. He's born under the astrological sign of Taurus, as am I. Oh, don't go crazy, Christians, because I've never met a Christian that does not know their sign. I am a firm believer that Jesus Christ, by his Hebrew name, we know him, and we know him by his English name, that Yeshua HaMashiach, the Messiah, is real and true, the true and living, the King of Kings. And I do believe that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the same God that the Quran is based upon, in reality, based upon. We know that lunar deities infiltrated. So I'm not a religious person, but I know that it's foolish to throw out the baby with the bathwater, because there is truth in some of everything. I don't accept all of science because there are some lies in science. So I don't accept all of religion because there's some lies in religion. So I cannot say that I am a-religious because I know that there is some truth in religion. No more can I say that I'm a-scientific. So we use it all right? And we pray about it because I do believe meditation is talking to the deity within, the presence of God within, and prayer is talking to the presence of God without, because both exist. So let's come out of our boxes, get out of our little gangs. I'm this and I'm that. I'm so and so. I'm this, I'm that. But OJays, Stairway to Heaven. First of all, let's make some assumptions based on what people believe about the song. You believe that it's a love song, or you believe it's some sort of religious song. And I'm going to bust up both of them by the will of the Creator right now. If it's a love song, okay, the fact that we find references to finding a treasure and going to heaven, it's putting love in a very occult and esoteric light. If this is normal love between man and a woman. If it's a religious song, and for those of you who think it has something to do with the God of the Bible or God and Jesus, as most black folk, as most Christians know them, and I say black folk because this is a song that by and large was popular in our community, whereas a lot of black folks don't know about Led Zeppelin's song. And see, that's part of the devil's trick. If he keeps us separated, if he keeps black from talking to white, then we don't know about Led Zeppelin's song, which the Led Zeppelin song called Stairway to Heaven is the most popular song that is criticized by Christian groups for being filled with backward masking and satanic messages. And I was just going through some of the many entries on YouTube about Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin has had a lot to say about this song. It was released in 1971 in November. It was written, the crediting goes to Randy California, and California is probably not that man's name. Okay, we know that California is part of the trick of spelling, and I had it wrote down here. Please bear with me. Because you know how it happens when you get ready to go on the air, things like this happen. But California, I had it broke down. Here it is. Kali, the Hindu deity, and we're talking about fallen beings. By and large, when you're talking about your Hindu deities, that's why they look so ill, with the arms and the legs and multiple limbs and whatnot. You got Kali, which is where you get Cali from. It's a 3-syllable word, California. The foreign is directly where you get fornication from. Did you know that the original way to say fornication was pornication? Okay, pornication and fornication, pornography and pornography, both come from the same origin. The P and the F is nothing but the same letter with a hump in the front. Okay, there's arguments about which is older. I maintain that because you find the P sound, or that hard sound, in ancient Kemet, I would tend to lean a little bit more toward that. But then you find the F sound in your Middle Eastern dialects, in your Semitic dialects as well. But we know this: if you get an etymological dictionary, a dictionary which shows etymology. Etymology is the science of where words come from. Excuse me for tripping over that. But if you get you a dictionary and you look at the etymology, or just go online, look at the etymology of fornicate or pornography, and you'll find that they both come from the same root word, forn and porn. Okay, the same root word. And then the IA, which we know is the Greek version of the YAH, the Semitic Yah. Okay, the Hebrew Yah. So you got California, which is Kali in Hindu is the deity of destruction. You know what porn and fornication is, and you know Yah means God of, or uh, I am. And so you have I am, destruction, and pornic- fornication, basically, in the name California. So that's just a little aside, because we know that California is where Hollywood is, and I thought it was ironic that uh, Randy California is credited as a writer of Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. Okay, let's get on through this. All right. So, uh, by the way, Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven is also accused of being a copy of a song by a group called Spirit, and that song is called Taurus. So, again, we're seeing occult implications all through the Stairway to Heaven and the Led Zeppelin. Okay, we know about the backward masking, Randy California, the Taurus, group called Spirit. In '88, Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin said, "No more Stairway to Heaven for me." He didn't want to play or sing the song any longer. Now, it's been said that people plant the satanic backward masking in all the time consciously, and I know for a fact that does not have to happen that way. You can plant backward masking in consciously, but because of the nature of the mind and the nature of the ethers, if your intent when writing a song is in alignment with the malevolent spirit world, the malevolent spirit force, if your intent is in alignment with that, then by default you will write a song that will have references to the demonic within the song without your intent. So I maintain that you find this not only in Led Zeppelin, but you find this also in the OJays version of Stairway to Heaven, and you find this the same energy behind Neil Sedaka's song Stairway to Heaven. And I got that simply from when I was looking up some information about Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. I found Neil Sedaka had a song called Stairway to Heaven, and it was released as a 45 single off of his album Neil Sedaka Sings Little Devil and His Other Hits. So that was enough for me to where we don't even have to look further into Neil Sedaka's to know that we can criticize it and condemn it in the same manner as the other Stairway to Heaven. So now, why Stairway to Heaven? Because in witchcraft, in demonology, the Stargate that they draw, the pentagram in a circle, it's called many names. It's called a Solomon's Key, it's called a Stargate, and it's called a Stairway to Heaven. A gateway, like your gateway computer. This gateway to heaven is a gateway into the spirit realm. And you have to remember that artists and musicians are duped into believing that if they worship the spirits, if they get with these satanic priests, and they're told that they're not satanic priests, just that they're heavy spiritual dudes. But if they get with these satanic priests and call upon these spirits, it will increase their record sales and make them more successful. So you have the Stairway to Heaven found in 3 different genres. Neil Sedaka, corny pop. You got rock and roll, Led Zeppelin, and you got R&B, the OJays. Now, more on the OJays version, because you don't want to believe that, brothers and sisters. You don't want to believe that the OJays, that pretty, mellow, subtle-sounding song could have anything to do with Lucifer or spirit worship. But I maintain, as the Bible tells us, the serpent was more subtle than any of the beasts of the field. Subtle has to do with cunning, cleverness. So don't always expect him to come in the form of rock and roll in an abrasive form. He comes smooth and subtly, like the OJays. So in the OJays Stairway to Heaven, in the lyrics, the most condemning of lyrics that I found were, here we go, climbing the stairway to heaven. Here we go, walking the road of ecstasy. Taking the load of this whole world off our shoulders. The door is wide open for you. The door is open for me. Now, if he's singing to his lady, to his love interest, he's telling her that you can access heaven by ecstasy, by way of sex. This sounds like sex magic practices to me. Now, that's one interpretation. And that's for those of you who want to insist it's a love song. If you want to insist that it's a love song, do yourself a favor and a service and follow the lyrics Okay? And let the lyrics tell you what the song is about, not the hook. That's the problem with us. We want to hear the hook and the chorus and walk off with that and think that you know what a song is all about. And you walk off singing that when they've just slid some very slick and subtle dedication lyrics to Lucifer by you by way of the lyrics, the actual lyrics to the song. And that's called the songwriter's secret. I've got several videos up about the songwriter's secret. Please take a look if you have more questions about it. But we're going to deal just with these three examples of the same title of the same song about the same subject. Okay, and this is just to show you that there is a demonism and a spirit worship that runs throughout the music industry, because the industry is Luciferian, not music itself, no one particular genre. You're either making music for God's creation or you're making music for the destruction of God's creation, one or the other. Whether it's got a twang to it and you want to call it country, or whether it does not have many words and you call it jazz or instrumental. The intention is either for one or the other. So we're going to point at the OJays' Stairway to Heaven and look at the intention by way of the lyrics. The lyrics will tell us the intention. So here we go, still in a moment of pleasure. Now some say still in a moment of pleasure, S-T-I-L-L-I-N, a moment of pleasure. And some say stealing, like taking a moment of pleasure. Either way, again, we're equating sexual references to a biblical concept, a Judeo-Christian concept of heaven. So now you as a Christian person can't sit there and tell me that that's not confusion. The Bible says God is not the author of confusion, and I'm really more doing this video for the many Christians I saw making comments under the OJays' Stairway to Heaven, deep in a spell, believing that this song is something heavenly, something religious, something spiritual, or something about love and relationships. And I maintain it's about none of these things. It is strictly about how to access the spirit realm by way of this gateway, this Stargate, this stairway or gateway to heaven, to the heavens. Heaven is a word that can be used and substituted in the occult for different realms, heavenly realms or dimensions. So it is a stairway or a gateway to a dimension. Why? Because the stars, the artists are told, stars, they call them stars. Why? To relate to the spirit worship of the fallen angels, who are also called stars, that they worship. And they call through these portals, these stairways or gateways to the other realms, gateway to heaven. Now, in the example of Led Zeppelin, it's obvious. Everyone has heard the backward masking behind Led Zeppelin. It says, my sweet Satan, and he will give you 666. Lots of very good, clear examples, because oftentimes you hear backward masking, and you'll say, oh, you know, that they're going too far, the Christian right, oh, they're going too far with it. But whether you consider yourself a spiritual or religious person or not, I defy you to listen to Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, the backward masking of versions that you'll find on YouTube, people turning it backwards for you already. I defy you to listen to that backward and tell me that you don't hear clear demonic messages in that song. And that has to do with the language, the forward, backward nature of the language we speak. We're speaking a language that's by and large given to us backward. We're taught the language by way of a science system called spelling. When you write the language and connect the letters together, it's called cursive. So it's easy to understand how simply by writing a song with negative intent and using English language, you can, without any conscious intent, end up having demonic messages in your song when you turn it backward, without your intent, simply because of the design of the language. It's designed with spelling inside. Okay, not to mention, we do have a music business that consciously understands certain words and certain phrases, like, yes, we can. Certain words and certain phrases, if you turn them backwards, will equal certain demonic words and phrases. Okay? And so there's a conscious effort to do this as well. So you have both things going on. Both are going on. Okay, uh, so after the stealing a moment of pleasure. Now, if that doesn't point you to that this is some sexual reference, but yet it's called Stairway to Heaven, and that's the ambiguity and the double-mindedness that believers are warned against, who say that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, and you should be ye hot or cold, you were lukewarm, so I spat you out of my mouth. You should be convicted if you still listen to Stairway to Heaven and you want to ignore what the lyrics are saying to you. The lyrics are clearly mixing up the Judeo-Christian religious imagery of heaven and sex with the ecstasy and the still in the moment of pleasure. We're going to find the pirate's treasure. Now, this is something that people are searching for that's hard to find. I maintain that it's difficult for these artists to often call these spirits up like they wanna and get in touch with the right, quote unquote, because there's no right demon, but to get in touch with the spirit that's supposed to help them, you see. So they oftentimes will try several times and will do a lot of searching to try to find out exactly how to access this stairway or gateway into the other realms. So they're going to find the pirate's treasure. What else are they talking about? Give me a better example. But again, you can't, because we've got three. And three strikes, you're out. We got Led Zeppelin, we got Neil Sedaka, and we got the OJays. Okay, the OJays also have a song called Message in the Music. Okay, everyone knows there are messages in the music. Now, message in the music, I'm not going to condemn or point out anything necessarily demonic about that song. Except for I believe it's trickery, because yes, there's a message in the music, but it's not what you think, not the obvious. Okay, and of course he goes into the here we go, oh baby, here we go, climbing the stairway to heaven, and we going step by step, because there's a process that you have to go through when you're dealing with magic, you're dealing with demonism. It's a process. You have to do this and do that and do this. You have to. It's a ritual, and rituals involve steps. Ceremonies involve steps. That's the step by step. And don't you want to go? Don't you want to go? Go where? Okay, in our own little corner of the world. Okay, references to the world and then heaven. Again, we have this ambiguity. We got this double-mindedness going on. And we're going to talk now quickly about what happened to the OJays. Who were the OJays? Well, the OJays were led by Eddie Levert, who's still out here now. Ironically, Eddie Levert has lost two sons in the music business. Two sons of his who were in the music business died untimely deaths. Now, for those of you who follow the satanic blood sacrifice philosophy that you hear a lot of people pointing to, showing you that a lot of the deaths that have happened in music over the years weren't just happenstance deaths, that some of those deaths were actual sacrifices. The devil and his satanic minions set up many. Some died by plane, as my good friend Prophet Charlie was telling me about. A large group of rockers all died at one time by plane. I maintain this sounds like mass sacrifice. Well, you also have the sacrifice of family members. People talk about Jennifer Hudson possibly having sacrificed her family members. God forbid if that was true. But there's so much talk and study now and information now about the way the satanic system in the music business works. And one thing that we keep hearing time and time again is the family versus family thing. We saw it in the Jacksons. We saw it with Marvin Gaye and his father, okay, a minister and a musician. So there was music and ministry in Marvin's family. And the devil, the adversary, Shaitan, comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and to put enmity, to put issue between the family member, the bloodlines that God blessed with music ministry. That's what Lucifer wants. He doesn't want any Joe Blow off the street that can play a little guitar. He wants bloodlines, family lines that have been anointed with music and ministry both. And he will often pull your favorite R&B folks and soul singers from out of the church. You know this. You've seen it and heard it many times. You've read too many biographies, and you've seen too many unsongs. You know that the majority of, not even just in black music, the majority of musicians come from out of the church or the church background into Lucifer's music business, from where they were naturally operating in their gift. He now has a control of their gift. And I maintain you found the same thing with Eddie Levert and his two sons, Sean Levert and Gerald Levert. Both Sean and Gerald Levert are dead now, okay? They both died as young men, and they both died without any real understanding of the cause, any real true understanding of the cause of their death, because they died too young and untimely. But yet their father is still out here, and he's still making music, and he's still on the award shows, and that's a big giveaway, because Lucifer only gives his awards to those that's down with his program. And the songwriter, it's called the songwriter's secret, again, because the songwriter has to be implicit in what's going on. He has to know what's happening. Maybe the artist doesn't have to know in certain instances, but I maintain we serve a God that will reveal to you. He won't let you walk into something like that blindsided. And Lucifer has rules. One of his rules is he must reveal himself so that you can openly choose him. Then he can take it to God as the accuser and say, see, look, I had my sign on it. Your people perish for lack of knowledge. It's not my fault. They didn't know that was my sign. So when you see Stairway to Heaven and you know about Led Zeppelin's version, and you know Neil Sedaka's song Stairway to Heaven was on an album called Neil Sedaka Sings Little Devil and his other hits, you should be able to make some spiritual discernment, people. But you can't get past how good the music sounds or how smooth Eddie Levert's voice is. And this is the subtlety of Lucifer that we're warned about time and time again, the wiles of the devil. He's wily, crafty, not obvious and coming at you, I'm the devil, like, you imagine all heavy metal or rap to be. You've got your eye on heavy metal and rap, but you ignored pop music, you ignored the blues, you ignored rhythm and blues, you ignored country. And again, I can't thank Prophet Charlie enough here in Ohio for showing me different things about country that I would have never had access to. And that's another part of the devil's plan, to divide and conquer us so that black folks, white folks, red folks, yellow folks, we don't get together and expose Lucifer's tricks in each other's communities with one another. So, because he's not creative, he took the same trick he used in rock and roll, Stairway to Heaven, brought it to R&B, Stairway to Heaven, and took it to pop, Stairway to Heaven. That shows you how unoriginal the adversary is. And if we have ears to hear, we'll be able to hear these things. But you have to get past that it sounds good. Like in order to get past fast food addiction, you have to get past that it tastes good. Yeah, the devil knows what you like. And we spent a lot of time talking about the bad songs. Okay, on my next post, I want to talk about a couple of good ones, and I'm going to give you one good one right now, just as a treat. Check out Marvin Gaye. Life is for Learning. It's from the In Our Lifetime album, an album that the industry tried to suppress, an album that got him in big trouble with Motown and ended their relationship, if I remember correctly. But Marvin was constantly in the struggle. His autobiography was called Divided Soul. He was constantly in this struggle, like a lot of people born with music and ministry in their blood, to either serve this system and give way to mammon and sexuality, highly sexualized lyrics, or to sing for the Creator.